Putazos y Pendejadas Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. Today, we're going to talk about the two-day doubleheader event in Japan. Japan has two cards on Sunday and Monday. They'll all be broadcasted on ESPN+. Mark, this is like a tradition with Japan. Towards the end of the year, they put on loaded cards. We have on the Sunday card, Takuma Inoue, the younger brother of the monster Naoya Inoue, who's 20-1 with 5 KOs. He's up against Seiya Tsutsumi, who's 11-0 with 2 draws and 8 KOs. This fight is for Takuma's WBA Bantamweight title. It's an interesting opponent for Takuma. Mark, Tsutsumi only has 13 fights, but there's more than meets the eye. Break this fight down for us.
Well, man, those records don't really tell the story, man. This is a really well-matched fight. These guys are well-matched. Don't believe the records. I mean, this guy has 8 KOs. That's 3 more than Takuma Inoue with 21 fights. This is a really, really important fight for Takuma Inoue because we know, what may be waiting for him down the line there. Tsutsumi, he packs power. But ultimately, Takuma Inoue is from the Inoue school. He's at another level. I think he's going to be able to take on Tsutsumi. Tsutsumi does have less experience. He's got 2 draws, which is also deceiving. His 2 draws were to a guy that was 16-1 and 8-0 and early in his career. And remember, Japan matches up these guys really, really well. He can hit. So Takuma Inoue has to be very, very careful. But I think Takuma Inoue will take this one and be victorious.
Also on the card is Kenshiro Teraji, who's 23-1 with 14 KOs. That's one of the favorites of PYP here, one of our favorite fighters out of Japan. He will be facing Christopher Rosales, who is 37-6 with 22 KOs. Teraji is moving up in this fight, Mark, from 108 pounds to 112 pounds. And this fight will be for the vacant WBC title.
The amazing boy Kenshiro Teraji versus Christopher Rosales, man. The amazing boy Kenshiro Teraji. I can say that all day long, David.
It rolls all the time.
Ken does one thing amazing, like his name. His footwork is outstanding, man. And that usually saves him because he gets hit a lot. And he gets in and out really good with his footwork. His footwork is so good. It saves him from his other flaws. He attacks. He's a come-forward guy. He picks his spots when he attacks. But when he picks his spots, he's decisive, and he always gets hit with the jab. He don't care. He's deciding to throw because he knows his footwork is going to save him. I fully think that Kenshiro will be able to take him. I mean, let's just compare resumes. You're a resume guy. He fought Gonzalez last year, and possibly the fight of the year. That fight was really, really good. He's fought Butler, Olascuaga, who's fighting for a world title at at flyweight. He's faced Yabuki twice. So he's been there with everybody. He's been a career mini flyweight, moving up now, looking to get a belt. And, Christopher could be dangerous because we don't know how Kenshiro is going to react to the punches that he eats at that weight class. I think he goes ahead and wins it. I think he takes Christopher and takes that second title, second division title, and then moves on to super flyweight, bantamweight, whatever, looking for some bigger paydays, possibly a BAM. Now that Junto kind of is not in the picture for BAM, Kenshiro takes this one, possibly a unanimous decision, although he has had a bunch of KOs the last 5 fights. But I think it's a flyweight. I'm going to say he wins a clear decision here. What do you think, David?
As always, whenever a fighter moves up in weight, you got to be a little bit concerned about that. Kenshiro Teraji, as fun as he is to watch fight, he does take some shots. As you mentioned before, he takes punches. And he might have been able to get away with that at the lower weight classes. But now that he's moving up, he's fighting bigger opponents. We'll have to see if he's either fixing that, not taking shots, or if he's able to take those punches from the heavier fighters. Also, Teraji's last fight was 8 months ago, and Christopher Rosales' last fight was a year ago. Teraji is the more active fighter. Teraji should be the favorite. I expect him to win. He's got his eyes on Bam Rodriguez, and they picked this fight carefully for him, so I'm pretty sure he's going to win. But Christopher Rosales is no joke. He's an experienced veteran. This should be a good fight. But I'm going with Teraji for the win. All right, moving on, Mark. On Monday, following this card, we have another card. Junto Nakatani will face a Thai fighter, Pech Sorchitpatana, also known as Tasana Salapat. We'll call him Salapat for the purposes of this broadcast. We know Junto Nakatani, another guy that we've had our eye on for a while here at PYP. Tasana Salapat, the fighter out of Thailand, he's 76-1 with 53 KOs. Mark, Salapat has fought mostly in Thailand. He only had one fight outside of Thailand. That was in Japan. He lost a unanimous decision to Takuma Inoue. This, to me, is obviously a setup for the Takuma Inoue fight down the line for Nakatani. And if Junto wins that fight, I think this fight will also set up a revenge match with Junto and Naoya Inoue in the future as well. Break this fight down for us, Mark.
Junto Nakatani versus Tasana Salapat. Man, Junto Nakatani's got it all, David. You know, this guy offensively is like a really good pitcher. You know, a really good pitcher. You call him a five-tool pitcher. The guy's got the fastball. He's got the curveball, breaking left, breaking right. He's got a breaking ball, right? Likes to go to the body. But I think his best pitch is the changeup, like another Japanese pitcher who's pretty famous over at the Dodgers, man. But look, when you have all these tools, they make batters shiver, man. And that's what he does to opponents. They shiver. They're already worried about his arsenal. So they got a lot to deal with. You know, and then let's talk about his work ethic. His stablemate, Anthony Olascuaga, who's fighting this weekend as well, was heard on KO Christie talking about him, about how dedicated this guy is, and that he really lives the boxing life, and he's mirroring him and trying to mimic that life and saying, that's what I want to do. I want to be that guy that takes a break from everything, leaves Japan, comes over to LA and starts training. And he's not out there. You know, he ain't out there taking pictures of doing that. People don't even know. He's at this LA gym down there training with these guys, man.
Yeah, Mark, he's in LA. He's training with Rudy Hernandez, a very underrated trainer, but very experienced. Rudy Hernandez has worked with a lot of fighters. He's the brother of Chicanito Hernandez. Rudy, if you guys know Edwin Valero and Jorge Linares, they both came up together in the States around the same time, and Rudy had them both when they were early in their careers. And Junto has been working with Rudy Hernandez since he was like 15 years old. So he's been to the school of Rudy Hernandez. He knows how to box. He knows how to set up punches, and they know what they're doing down there, Mark. So yeah, Junto is well schooled in the States, right? He bringing some of that Japanese culture and tradition with his fighting style, but he's also schooled over here in the Southern California style as well.
Yeah, man, he trains with Mexican Americans, and he's adapting that Mexican American style.
So.
You know, he's using the jab a lot, and he puts it out there. You know, but you know, he's methodical with his punches, really good technique. But then he can fight with that busy Japanese style as well. And then he's dangerous with one punch knockout power as well. So Salapat's going to be overwhelmed. You know, he's 76-1, but it's only been in Thailand. So I fully expect Junto Nakatani to win this. It's an important fight to him. After that Fight Hype interview, we all know what he's looking for down the line. So this is a big fight for him. I fully expect him to win and quickly.
Yeah, I don't see him having trouble with Salapat either. I believe Junto is going to win this fight hands down, and I think we're going to see a Takuma fight down the line. Also, we have Anthony Olascuaga. We've seen this guy, Mark. We first saw him. Well, I first saw him when he fought Kenshiro Teraji. He had a really good fight with Kenshiro Teraji. Anthony Olascuaga is 7-1 with 5 KOs. He is the WBO flyweight champion. He'll be defending his belt against a former junior flyweight champ, Jonathan Bomba Gonzalez, who's 28-3-1 with 14 KOs. Tell us a little bit about this fight as well.
I like Anthony Olascuaga. He's been in there he's only 7-1. He's already faced Kenshiro Teraji, and he's already faced the flyweight champion and won a world title. What I like about this kid is when he lost against Kenshiro Teraji, he didn't get out without, man. He didn't feel bad about himself. He got right back up, went up a division, beat the top-ranked guy in that division, and then won a world title, knocking that guy out. So, and here he is with Jonathan Gonzalez. That is a big test for him as well. He's got to be careful. Although this guy's on the downside of his career, he's been in there with all the big names. He's been at flyweight, junior flyweight, bantamweight. He's been around, so he's got to be careful with this guy. I fully expect Anthony Olascuaga to win this one, though, possibly setting up a rematch with Kenshiro Teraji at flyweight. But, Kenshiro is looking for some money at this stage in his career. But that could be a big fight as well, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's a title. They would go for another title, and that would be a unification fight with Olascuaga. Should he beat Bomba Gonzalez, that he would move on and he would keep his WBO belt. And if Kenshiro wins his fight, he'd have the WBC title. So that's a unification fight. And that just makes a possible fight with Bam Rodriguez, who Kenshiro has said that he wants to fight eventually. That makes that fight even more enticing for Bam as well. So, yeah, absolutely, Mark. And don't forget, Olascuaga got knocked out by Kenshiro. So he was stopped by Kenshiro. Yeah. So for him to, I want to emphasize the point that you made. He didn't get Awitao after being stopped. He came back and he continued to face top competition. And Olascuaga is also out of the Rudy Hernandez school with Junto Nakatani as well. So he's a guy that you want to keep your eye on. Well, Mark, that's it for our coverage of this Japanese, all Japanese fight card. Just a little note for all you U.S. viewers, the ring walks for the main events of both of the cards on Sunday and Monday is supposed to be about 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So, yeah, you'll be getting up early if you want to check it out. But if you don't forget, you can also catch these fights on demand on ESPN Plus. Just avoid the headlines so you don't get surprised by anything. No spoilers allowed. Oh, one more question for you, man. This double header card, it's very unusual, right? Having two events back to back and they're kind of related. Or does that sound like something that you would be
man, I would be all for it, man. I when I was a kid, I went to Lollapalooza. It was 2 days. It was like a music fest. I did attend. I would do it at 50 for a boxing match. I mean, I would take a weekend off. I mean, it's all happening in one place in Tokyo. And I mean, if I lived there, I would be at that arena every single night, and I would take a vacation. I would just have fun and take it all in. I mean, 3 nights, all world title fights, multiple world title fights on every card.
Yeah, it's sick, right? You're right. It's like a music fest, bro.
I'd probably, if I knew about this earlier, I'd probably would have gone to Japan.
What? You always said you wouldn't go to Japan. You would have done
Japan. You know what?
For this?
For Junto Nakatani or a Kenshiro Teraji, if time allowed, I would go to Japan.
So then if Junto fights Naoya Inoue, are we booking tickets?
I'm going to Japan. Yeah.
Wait, man, you told me years ago you would. It was not that long ago. It was like a year or two ago. I would never go to Japan and watch a fight, man.
I think I would now, man. It is getting that hot over there.
Absolutely, bro. The boxing scene down there is just so much better than the U.S. market right now. These guys are setting themselves up to face each other, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a good time to be a Japanese boxing fan for sure.
I can't wait for this weekend, man. It's so much boxing.
All right, my friend. Well, we'll be waking up early catching these fights because I don't like spoiler alerts. I'm all about not trying to hear about the fight after the fact. So we'll be waking up early on those days. Mark, that's it for us. Folks, let us know in the comments Are you looking forward to any of the fights this weekend? What are you looking forward to the most? And if Junto were to succeed and Takuma were to succeed in their 2 fights, who do you think wins that fight head to head? I'm going with Junto. I think Junto is going to knock all the opponents out until he gets to 122. So it'll be the battle of the monsters at 122 pounds. Mark, last prediction for you. If Takuma and Junto were to face each other, who do you got?
Yeah, I mean, you got to go with the new monster, right?
You're going with the new monster as well, right?
Going with the new monster.
Going with the new monster. All right, man. Well, shit. Let us know in the comments, y'all. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.